My name's Daniel, and I'm 26 years old. Like most people my age, I'm just trying to build my life. Working long hours, paying rent, keeping up with bills, and somehow saving a little for the future. Family has always been a complicated subject for me. On one hand, I love my parents because they're my parents. On the other hand, there's always been this unspoken favoritism toward my younger siblings, like I was the outsider in my own home. It's not something I like to admit. But deep down, I always hoped that if I kept showing up, kept helping out, maybe one day I'd feel like part of the inner circle of my family. A few months ago, my dad had some medical issues. Nothing extremely serious, but the bills started piling up. One evening, my mom called me with panic in her voice. "Daniel, honey, we don't know how we're going to pay for your dad's treatments this month. We're really struggling. Do you think you could help?" Of course, I said yes. I'd been saving a little money for my car repairs and maybe a short vacation for myself, but family comes first, right? Without thinking twice, I transferred $2,800 to my mom. She thanked me endlessly, told me I was the most responsible one of all her kids, and said my dad would be so relieved. For a moment, I felt proud. I thought finally, I did something that showed them how much I care. Maybe this time they'll see me as more than just the responsible older one. Weeks passed. I didn't hear much update about Dad's health, but I assumed everything was okay. Then one Saturday morning, my phone buzzed with a photo notification from my younger sister. At first I smiled, thinking maybe it was a picture of Dad looking better, but when I opened it, my heart sank. It was a picture of my whole family. My mom, Dad, 2 siblings, even my aunt and uncle, standing on the deck of a cruise ship, smiling under the sun, holding fruity cocktails. And me? I wasn't there. At first I thought it was some old picture, but then I noticed the date stamp. It was taken yesterday. My hands started shaking. I called my mom immediately. "Mom, what's going on? You guys are on a cruise?" She hesitated for a second before saying, "Oh, honey, yes. Your dad needed a break, and we thought it would be good for the family to spend some time together. It was kind of a last-minute thing." I felt my chest tighten. "Last minute? Mom, I gave you $2,800 for Dad's medical bills. You told me you couldn't afford treatment. Now you're telling me you spent that money on a vacation? And you didn't even invite me?" Her voice turned defensive. "Daniel, don't be dramatic. Your dad is feeling better and we all needed this. You're always so busy with work, we didn't think you'd want to come. Besides, you should be happy your dad is enjoying himself." "Happy?" I hung up before I could say something I'd regret. My head was spinning. I had been working overtime, cutting my own expenses, skipping nights out with friends just to save that money, and my family had blown it on a cruise without me. For days, I couldn't stop thinking about it. The betrayal wasn't just about the money, though. That stung badly. It was the fact that they didn't even consider me part of the family vacation. I wasn't invited. I was just the wallet. The people who raised me, who should have been the ones teaching me about honesty and loyalty, had lied to my face and used me. I told a close friend about what happened, and she looked at me with wide eyes. "Daniel, that's not just unfair. That's cruel. They manipulated you." At first, I wanted to brush it off like maybe I was overreacting. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized she was right. I replayed every conversation I'd ever had with my parents about money. Times when they'd borrowed from me and never paid back. Times when they'd guilt-tripped me into covering bills for my siblings because I had a stable job. Times when my birthday would pass quietly, while they went all out for my younger brother's graduation party. It all started adding up. The truth was, I wasn't family in the way I hoped. I was a resource, someone they could lean on when things got tough, but never someone they truly valued. I decided I needed to set boundaries. When my parents returned from their cruise, my mom called me as if nothing happened. "Daniel, it was such a great trip. You should have seen your dad dancing. He hasn't been that happy in years." I took a deep breath and finally said the words I'd been holding in for years. "Mom, I'm glad Dad had fun. But you lied to me. You told me he needed that money for medical bills. Instead, you used my savings for a vacation and didn't even invite me. I can't keep doing this. From now on, I'm not giving you money. If Dad has a real medical emergency, I'll help find resources, but I'm done being your bank. There was silence on the line. Then, in a cold tone, she said, "Well, if that's how you feel, Daniel, maybe you should just keep your distance." I felt a mix of sadness and relief. Sadness because I knew she meant it. Relief because, for the first time, I wasn't letting myself be used. It's been a few months since then. My parents still talk to my siblings regularly, but I barely hear from them. And you know what? That's okay. I'm finally learning that family isn't always about blood. Sometimes, family is the people who actually show up for you, who respect your sacrifices, who don't make you feel invisible. And as painful as it was to realize the truth, I'm grateful. Because now, I can finally build a life where I'm not just the wallet, but a person who deserves love, honesty, and respect.